All right, troops, wing your hussar and check your sabla, because today we're flying deep into Polish space to check out The Lightning War Rising Storm by Miles Phoenix, book one in a new indie military sci-fi series about alien tech, underdog nations, and galaxy-shaking war. This book first hit my radar earlier this year. The cover was eye-catching, the blurb pulled me in, and I thought, okay, this might be worth a look. But here's the thing. Even before I finished the prologue, I felt something was off. That feeling didn't go away. Let's break it down. The Lightning War tells the story of Captain Maria Rosak, a Polish officer in command of the destroyer Błyskawica, a warship upgraded with reverse-engineered alien tech. Her home, Space Poland, is a small but fiercely independent colony that suddenly finds itself with a serious edge, the bubble drive. It's essentially a teleportation system for starships, and it changes everything. Naturally, this puts Space Poland on the radar of every major power. Space USA's side plays friendly but has their own agenda. Space Russians, surprisingly, are the good guys here. Friendly, supportive, maybe a little too supportive. And the Space Arabs? Yes, it's the cliché evil Space Arabs. They're aggressive, technologically evolving, and not exactly nuanced. Everyone wants what Space Poland has, and Captain Rosak is caught in the middle of it. From tactical skirmishes in asteroid fields to uneasy diplomacy aboard trade stations, to a final confrontation with a dreadnought-sized threat, the book moves fast. Maria deals with espionage, cyber attacks, political posturing, and internal pressure, all while commanding a crew that basically sees her as both leader and legend. The concept is strong. A small, overlooked power suddenly mattering on the galactic stage. Yep, it's Space David versus Goliath scenario. And if you've read Honor Harrington or The Expanse, you'll definitely recognize the structural inspiration. And I think for readers from smaller nations, there's also a fun element of, what if it was your country that made the discovery that changed the strategic balance of the future? And by keeping it, not sharing, it makes your country a major player in the military arena. The pacing is fast. You won't be stuck waiting for something to happen. The story moves, and it keeps moving. There's very little downtime. Scenes roll into each other with high energy, and the stakes keep escalating. That constant motion keeps the book from dragging. Some of the character interactions also stood out. Maria's exchanges with officers from Space USA and Space Russia add a bit of spice to the otherwise linear storyline. And to be honest, it's refreshing to see Russians shown as an ally in this kind of narrative. And that's from a Polish author. Not sure, but I think this is also rare in modern military sci-fi. Yeah, it just caught my attention, that's all. A bit shocking, really, hey? So those are the good parts. There are definitely moments, ideas, and setups that I appreciated. But overall, I did not enjoy this book. And I don't say that lightly. I went in hoping to love it, but it just didn't land for me. The story feels too familiar and too safe. The premise is solid. A small nation discovers advanced tech. Major nations want it, conflict follows. But there's nothing new done with it. No bold twist, no unique execution. I expected Space Poland to share the alien tech. I expected the aliens to appear and say, hey, that's mine. But no, well, maybe in the sequels. The protagonist, Maria Rosak, comes across as a Mary Sue. She's hyper-competent, never really wrong, and constantly validated by everyone around her. Her crew follows her flawlessly. Her allies admire her because often she shows them how wrong they are. Even the president of Space Poland seems to want to be best friends. Conflict doesn't seem to challenge her. She's not stretched. There's little personal vulnerability, and without that, the tension doesn't hold. You never get the sense that she's truly at risk, and that makes the stakes feel thin, even when the ship's about to explode. But as I got deeper into the book, I started to feel that the problem wasn't just the plot or the characters. It was the tone. The writing felt overly clean, smoothed out, predictable, too predictable. That's when I began suspecting that this book was written with AI assistance. Now let me be clear, I don't have anything against AI. I think it can be a useful tool in the creative process. But in this case, you can feel it. The prose is polished to the point of being sterile. There's a lack of spontaneity, a noticeable repetition in phrasing, absolutely no typos, and emotional beats that are described rather than felt. You don't experience the characters, you're told how they feel. And that distance builds up over time. Eventually, it feels less like a story and more like a very calculated product. And there we have it. The Lightning War Rising Storm by Miles Phoenix. The Lightning War reads like something built to hit all the expected genre notes. A competent female captain, a ship with special tech, a rival empire with bad intentions, a few diplomatic meetings, a climactic showdown. But there's not much risk. Nothing feels raw. It's smooth, market-ready, and ultimately forgettable. That might sound harsh, but I say it with respect, because I do admire the hustle behind this book, and it's clearly the product of a strategic, tech-savvy mind. The author Miles Phoenix, or Markin Pilarczyk, is certainly creative and is successfully exploring AI as a storytelling tool. That's bold. That's forward-thinking. And I absolutely hope he keeps writing and refining his voice, because military sci-fi, or the post-apocalyptic genre where he also writes, thrives when new voices come in swinging, and I don't want to discourage that. While strong ideas are great, they need emotional depth to resonate. AI polish, no pun intended, alone, isn't enough. Yes, even when you have the right pieces on the board, it's how you play the game that makes it memorable. So let's continue playing the game by liking and subscribing for more military sci-fi book reviews. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Burn bright and burn enough.